Good morning. It is Wednesday, November 13th, 10 a.m.
Ooh, it's early.
Yes, it is. And that means it's time for This Week in Geek. I'm your host, Paul.
This is Aaron.
All right, and we're going to dive right into the pull box this week.
Yes, we have some really cool stuff coming out. I'm going to jump right in with DC. Again, the Batman's Grave number 2 is coming out, and I'm really excited about that. We're going to be looking at, they're still doing the Year of the Villain stuff, so we have, some good stuff coming there in terms of, we have the Mr. and Mrs. Freeze, which is DC Superhero Girls Giant, which is looking pretty exciting.
Now, is that the same one that got released at Walmart exclusively for their thing?
Yes, yeah. So, that, again, those comics, and they're doing a really good job with that, is a lot of people complained about that the Walmart was getting just those specifics, and DC decided, you know what, we're going to give it to all the local comic shops, because these are very kid-centric. Mm-hmm. And so that's why, it's one of my picks, is because we really don't have a lot of, like for your girls specifically, we don't have a lot of comics that you can say, hey, Madison, Kylie, hey, you guys want to pick up a comic,
right.
that
Wait,
is...
So I shouldn't have been giving them Walking Dead?
That's your choice.
Explains why Madison doesn't sleep so good.
That could be part of the night terrors, but anyway, we digress. So that looks good. And then, of course, like I was saying, Year of the Villain, Mr. and Mrs. Freeze is coming out. We have the Blackest Night number 1, which is a $1 comic, which is kind of cool.
Oh, is that a reissue?
It's a reissue.
Perfect.
So, that was a really great... I enjoyed that storyline. They went into everything. Every DC title had that. But
yes.
Most importantly, what I'm really excited for is Far Sector. They've been doing a lot of promoting, regarding that. It looks as if it's done by the Young Animal side of DC, so that was a little more edgy, if you will.
Okay, is this almost kind of like the whole Young Guns thing from Marvel?
Yes, exactly. So, Far Sector looks really good, and then of course you jump into Hawkman, the Infected.
Okay.
Again, Year of the Villain. The cover of it looks amazing, and it just looks really, really good. And I've enjoyed Hawkman, and it to me, I feel as if they're doing a good job wrapping up this whole Year of the Villain thing. That's what I have for the most part for DC. Marvel wise, we typically get into the same stuff again that we always talk about for Marvel. We have our Guardians of the Galaxies. We have our House of X, the 5th printing, which I don't even know why they did that. We have the History of the Marvel Universe, number 5. Invaders, number 11. The one that I'm really excited for this week is Morbius, number 1.
Yes.
And Punisher Soviet, number 1.
Now, what's the deal with that?
So it looks to me as if, the Punisher Soviet is going to be essentially, Punisher is in Russia. And, he doesn't necessarily mind, what he's having to do. A dozen Russian mobsters lie dead at the Punisher's feet, and he wasn't the one who pulled the trigger. So it leaves it kind of like what's happening. And then who is New York City's dominating the Russian mob? And can it be long before they come into conflict with Frank? So it's taking the Russian mob out of Russia and dropping it essentially at the Punisher's feet, and it's how he's going to deal with that.
Outstanding.
So, that looks really cool as well. I like these off titles. I like these, the what if scenarios. I like the different universe comics that are coming out with both DC and Marvel. I really have been enjoying those. Of course, then we have Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order Dark Temple number 4 of 5. that also has been really, really good as well. Really focusing on this female Jedi that is, like every Jedi does, wants to protect, wants to learn, wants to be the good person, but things aren't always, the way they seem. So, that story has done some twists and turns as well. So those are, some of the main things that are coming out that I saw in terms of, Marvel and DC. Family Tree #1 is a big one that has been talked about, via Image. And again, I don't know a whole lot about it. They showed some, synopsis of it, and some of the graphics are very Frank Miller-esque, very dark. It looks as like when an 8-year-old girl literally begins to transform into a tree, her single mom, troubled brother, and possible insane grandfather embark on a bizarre, heart-wrenching odyssey across the back roads of America in a desperate search for a way to cure her horrifying transformation. So it just is something that is so, I've never heard of anything like this.
Right, that seems like it's way out there.
Way out there in the spectrum. It's not like Groot turning into Groot's a tree, but, he's not turning into a human being, if you will. So,
right.
Image, you know this as well as I do, they are always have some way out there titles. So those are some of the main stuff that's coming out, that I wanted to touch on in terms of, what I'm going to be, actually pulling for myself. Again, I'm going to be going with the Jedi Fallen Order. I'm definitely grabbing the Year of the Villain comics from DC, and then Morbius #1. So those are the main ones that I'm going to be shooting for. What about you?
It's a light week for me. I'm picking up History of the Marvel Universe.
Okay.
And I will be picking up Marvel Action Spider-Man #11.
Yep. It's been good.
I haven't been reading it. That's Kylie's.
Oh, okay.
She's all about that one.
It's been... I'm stammering here because I'm trying to use the right... It's not like... It actually, what we were talking about earlier with the Disney Plus and the Spider-Man, like the throwback cartoons and all that?
Yes.
It's very similar to that.
Nice.
So it's an all-around Spider-Man. So
I like it. And
yeah.
She loves the fact that it's all three.
It's perfect.
Peter, Miles, and Gwen.
Yep.
And I guess now Venom's coming into it.
Yes, he is.
So that should be really cool.
It is, yes. I love my Venom. So, figure-wise.
Yes.
What do you? You had a kind of a cool adventure today. Why don't we tell everyone what happened for you?
Yeah, I was actually out for business at my office. I went out of town to Albany. Happened into a Walgreens and found a Danny Moonstar just sitting on the shelf.
Just sitting there.
Excuse me. Yeah. Something I didn't think we were going to see in the wild at all.
Very few and far between, for sure. You also saw, I believe you said Emma Frost, which was another one. Yeah. 2 of them. That was something that... Walgreens is weird. It seems like they get stuff in, and then it disappears, and then they get random, sporadic, like ones and twosies across the board. They just happen to show up. And if it's something like you or I, we've already gone there and checked it out. Mm-hmm. And guess what? They have nothing. We're not necessarily going to go back and look again.
Not for the same thing.
No.
And it's very weird because I noticed that certain Walgreens around here have different things on the shelf.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
The one on James Street has 13 single boxes of magic from New Mutants.
Really?
Yes.
That's so weird.
It's very weird, and I don't get it because nobody else around here has it.
So it's all maybe they're getting from we know that a bunch of Rite Aids got turned over to Walgreens, but still, that wouldn't account for the way things are right. distribution, it comes out of the same area, I would think, but who knows? I mean, maybe we just don't have people shopping there, and then the people that are shopping there are saying, hey, why do I need a Magic? I'm not interested in that,
Right.
So it's like the Thing figure and the Silver Surfer that I picked up. I literally went on, saw the app, and this was like months ago. Actually, it was over a year ago at this point, and the app said that the store had like 12 of them.
Right.
And I'm like, okay. And I go there, and nothing on the shelf at all. I ask an employee. Employee's like, oh, you want a toy? And I'm like, oh, come on, dude. See, can you look in the back? And he comes back, and he's like, oh, look, here. I have a whole box of them. And I'm like, oh, that's cool. And so me being the normal person, I buy one and then one for someone else. I don't buy all of them. Well, unfortunately, a lot of people around here, a lot of collectors, they do that, and they flip them on eBay, or they use them as trade bait, as they call it. And I don't even understand the whole trade bait thing. I mean, why buy something that you may get rid of,
right,
and you may trade for someone? So, it definitely is. It's weird how like you said, some places have stuff, some places don't. And it becomes the luck of the Irish, like you had today, finding that Danny. I mean, I traded, to get you your first one.
Right.
I traded a really great Star Wars figure, because I was like, hey, this is a good deal. I know you wanted it, so I was like, hey, I'll trade for it. Little did I know that you wanted three of them.
Yeah.
So,
and that's because I'm a big New Mutants fan.
Yeah.
So I want to be able to display all three characters.
Absolutely. I mean, you are a completionist, and that makes sense. You know, so, but talking about Black Series, you and I also had a little experience this weekend, separately, of course.
Mm-hmm.
So they released the Target exclusive, the C3PO and Baba Booey. I keep wanting to say Baba Booey. Shout out to Howard Stern. But I looked online, and it showed the app that they had it, and I go there, and the gentleman's like, the first store I go to, the gentleman's like, oh yeah, we had them, and some guy came in and he bought, all of them. And I'm like, oh my God. And I'm like, really? So I was really, brokenhearted, and I'm like, you know what, I'll drive to a different one. Lo and behold, they, case fresh, opened it up, gave it to me, and the cashier, was so nice that they actually gave me a sale price on it. Not only was it the 25% off, but they gave me a much lower price from last week's sale. So it worked out pretty good. You went and you found one as well, but I guess we both were really lucky because it was an early release, right? You said it was street dated.
What I understood. It was street dated for the day after.
Interesting.
We went.
So we both lucked out on that. So, that's really cool that we were able to pick that up. They did announce a heavy armor Mandalorian, which is going to be a deluxe figure, which is going to be just like the Gamorrean Guard, thicker square box. So that's going to be, I believe, at a $24 or $27. I think it was a $27.99 price point, and it looks like he's got a big blaster and a big backpack.
Nice.
So it looks really cool, big beefy figure. I'll put a link up on our site, guys, so you can take a look at that. Also, they went and they announced that they were going to show. So there's an artist that does all the packaging for all the Black Series figures. Well, they went and they showed that we're going to be getting a Jar Jar Binks, which we knew about. We're going to be getting a Zeb from Rebels.
Oh, nice.
We're going to be getting another stormtrooper, a specialized trooper. He's got some really bright blue accents on him, so that'll be interesting. Looks like we're getting a crate. Luke from where he and Kylo battled on the planet Crate. So looks like we're going to be getting one of him, and then there was another one. Those are I haven't seen the actual figures, but the box art has been released for those.
That's cool.
Yeah, definitely between Marvel and Hasbro stepped up their game, and my checking account is screaming at me. So is my fiance. He's screaming at me too because I'm running out of shelf room.
Right.
I don't know about you, but there's only so many places you can put little figures.
That's right.
So But yeah, I mean that kind of wraps up our. Oh no, it doesn't.
No,
we still have to talk about
the
gosh.
Walmart exclusives.
Yes. Oh my gosh, I totally forgot about those. So we have our Yoda, and which is the Force Ghost Yoda, and then we have the Jedi Luke from Return of the Jedi.
Yes.
Where he's wearing the all black and he's got soft goods.
Yeah.
I opened him. Oh my god! And the cloak is way oversized for him. And I mean, you have to it kind of sucks because you kind of have to like layer his hood a little bit.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it really flops over. But all in all, they did a great job. My only complaint is both his hands are flesh colored.
Oh, so no glove.
No glove.
Ugh.
So everyone on Facebook and the Facebook the posts or whatnot have been showing people taking one of the hands off, painting it black, and putting it on. So.
But you know what? It makes sense.
It does because he didn't lose his hand yet when he was at that part of the movie.
Yes.
So I mean, I kind of see why people want to do that. But it would have been cool if they would have added that as an accessory.
Right, an extra hand?
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, the half a penny that it would have cost them to do
right.
it. I mean, they probably have 1 billion hands lying around. So, and good catch on that. I totally forgot about the Walmart stuff.
Well, I didn't because I still have to give them to you.
Oh my god, that's right. I forgot about that. Yeah. And I have to give you your
Mandalorian.
Yes.
I'm so excited.
Yeah, so that's a great segue because you and I just watched The Mandalorian.
The Mandalorian, episode 1.
Disney Plus.
Yeah, dropped yesterday.
Yep.
And I was having a little trouble with my my setup. So you brought your Roku over. We watched the episode, and then naturally, immediately afterwards, we got my setup figured out.
Of course.
Yeah. So, oh my god.
So good.
We have to be careful because literally it's been out for 24 hours,
Yeah,
so we can't really spoil anything.
We're not going to, but all I'm going to say is they offer a free 7-day trial and $6.99 a month. Mm-hmm. Every week they release a new episode. They actually are, this week you're going to get 2 episodes out of it. So theoretically, you're going to be able to watch 2 episodes for free. And then if you decide you want to continue on, you can. But the thing that I want everyone to know about is that if you have a cell phone that has, like I have a 256 gig iPhone, I was able to download onto my phone all the Star Wars movies, 1 through
8.
8.
Right now? Are all 8 on there?
Yeah, all 8 downloaded on there. No, yeah.
There's got to be at least 10 because we've got. Wait, is Solo, Rogue One?
Oh no, I didn't do Solo and Rogue One.
Okay, what about there was another one, wasn't there, or is that the only other 2?
No, that's it. Yeah, because you have
so 10 right now.
A New Hope, Return of the Jedi, Empire Strikes Back,
the 3 prequels,
and
the 2 new sequels so far.
So, so I was able to, and they are right on my phone. I literally can click on them, and I can go from watching it streaming on another device to coming and picking my phone up, and it syncs it. It does a really great job, not to mention 4K and UHD, ultra high definition.
That's awesome.
And let me tell you, I was watching today Return of the Sith. Revenge of the Sith. Oh, my brain is so off. Revenge of the Sith, and it looked so good. I actually thought to myself, I'm like, holy moly. It looks like the new video game that's coming out because the technology, from 5 years ago when they did all the animated Yoda and Wookiees and all that stuff.
Right.
That all to now, like the new game that's coming out, the figure motions and all that, it looks so similar.
Wow.
It's awesome. So, and that's another thing. Next week, I want to touch base on the game.
Okay.
Because
that's coming soon, right?
It is, and I was able to watch a playthrough of that,
nice.
Which was, Jay goes to me. He goes, "Why don't you play the video game? Why are you watching someone else play the video game?" And I was like, "Because I don't have to button mash. I don't have to do anything. I just can watch it." So I got to see, some of the, the beginnings of it, and it looks really, really cool. So
that's awesome.
Yeah, we'll talk about that a little bit more in depth next week.
Outstanding.
So, yeah, we lot of cool things, comic book wise, figure wise. This is a great time to be alive, with all the
totally.
It's just so exciting. And definitely want to shout out to our local comic book shops for being able to facilitate, the comics, the camaraderie, the whole lifestyle, if you will. And again, like we've talked about before, Mike from Collectibles Galore.
Wow.
Whoa. Hey guys. Great guy, great stuff at that shop, and definitely, he will talk to you till the cows come home, and he'll give you a good deal at the end of the day. So definitely good shout out to him as well. And not to mention, we still have to talk about, what we were doing 2 weeks ago with our local comic shops. We were talking about, what we had viewed when we went into some of them, and how our interactions were and whatnot. So we're gonna get back into that now that my schedule's a little bit better. We can continue with that conversation.
We'll touch more on that next week.
Absolutely.
I think we're about wrapping up right now.
I think so.
So as always, folks, do your hunting and shopping locally.
Yes.
Without your local comics and collectibles shops, our hobby doesn't really happen.
Nope.
All right. And on that note,
good night, y'all.
This has been a GeekPod Network production. Show notes and links to our social media can be found on our webpage, www.geekpod.com. That's G33kpod.com. Want to help us out? Please rate and review the show on Apple Podcasts or wherever you listen. Reviews really help keep us on the charts. Thanks, guys, and see you next time.